When I play good lovin', I call it cowboy chords. I only play the top 4 strings. And then save the low strings for. So I've got some dynamics, somewhere to go. The little lick that I play originally was the piano went. I played it exactly like that until the day of the recording. And I got frustrated. We got so into the track that instead of going, I went. I threw that little lick in there only once. Only one take that I throw that on the second break. And years later, I didn't realize what I had done until I talked about it. And it's like my little hat's off to James Burton. It's a James Burton lick.
You should see what a lovely, lovely world it would be now.
First of all, I'm a big View fan. And Whoopi Goldberg is the reason why I watch it. And she came to see us in Tribeca Grill 2.5 years ago. So she came backstage and we talked, and it wound up that she wanted us to play for her birthday on The View. And of course, we hadn't done any television at all, just the Tony Awards, which I used my Johnny A model on the Tony Awards. So when we got together with Steve Van Zandt for the Once Upon a Dream tour we did, our first time in 42 years, Stevie said, anything you want? And I said, I'd love to have a Johnny A model. So he got on the phone with Henry, and they talked for about 15 minutes, and all of a sudden, I wasn't getting a Johnny A model. So I called Johnny, and I said, hey, Johnny, I said, they want to give me a guitar, a white one. Could you help facilitate moving it right along? Because I was showing respect to Johnny, and Johnny said, well, they need my permission anyway, so I hope I have it. He said, absolutely. So Johnny got the guitar made for me, along with, of course, Henry and everybody. He moved it along to 3 weeks, and I got the guitar. And I use it in special parts of the show. I use it for People Gotta Be Free, which is like the climax of the show. I save it. I have like 8 guitars I play. And this is the climax of the show. This is the eye candy that everybody goes, what is that? And it's the best sounding guitar I have in the show. On that video, you see me playing my very first Barney Kessel, which was off the rack, Cherry Sunburst. Gauge strings were 12s, because there were no gauges in those days. And you just bought Gibson Sonomatic strings. I was totally a Gibson man. I had the Gibson strings, I had the Gibson guitar, I even had a Gibson Strat.
Since I fell for you, I don't know what it's all about.
I was playing my black Barney Kessel in that one. Originally I bought one off the rack. I fell in love with it. It was a double cutaway, first of all. Nobody had that. George Harrison had his country gentleman, Paul McCartney with the Hofner bass, and John with the Rickenbacker. I had to have my own, and I fell in love with the guitar. It was my first Gibson, really. I wound up owning 36 Gibsons in a 5-year period. Well, first of all, I was kind of like, wow, it's a 3/4 size Barney Kessel, just some cutaway. I found out it was modeled for Johnny A. I said, who is Johnny A? We became immediate friends, and I said to Johnny when I first saw him, I said, you got my guitar, mate, He laughed about it because he knew about the Barney Kessel. I really liked it, and it sounded great, it sounded terrific, and I've gained a couple of pounds, so it's a lot easier to play here than and it doesn't feed back like a Barney Kessel would at this point. Even though I've got like a collection of guitars now, almost every single one of them are workhorses. They go to work with me. So I was never into putting something in a box and saying, well, that's mine. That's like putting a head of a deer on the wall. I can't pet the deer. He's dead. So the guitar, I gotta play them. I gotta work them. We'd finish at 3 in the morning, and Dino we'd all go home. And Dino was an insomniac. He would watch TV at 4 or 5 in the morning, and they would put on Spanky and our gang, the Little Rascals, and they were wearing knickers. He came up with the name, and we said, "No, get out of here. That sounds silly. That sounds like a Las Vegas circus act. The Rascals. You know, what are we gonna do? Acrobats? We're gonna do spinning plates?" and so what he did was, he made about 100 fortune cookie papers, like about 1.5 inches, with the word Rascals. He put them in the guitar, put them on the mics, put them in our shirts or our shoes, backstage, on the organ. No matter where we were, we saw this thing, friggin' Rascals. We finally gave in. We called ourselves the Rascals. We did 17 singles and 8 albums in 5 years. And the record company said we were lazy. People say, and everybody say, "Wow, when's the band going to get back together?" And I would say for the Pope's wedding, because it was like it wasn't going to happen. I mean, everybody was out, everybody was every which way. You know, not being with the Rascals for 42 years, not having your life, not being Gene Cornish to yourself, it hurts.